you've dominated a session on a particular colour, if you didn't then start the next session with that, that's weird. Hello everyone, welcome to The Deep Drop. This is a fishing podcast if you're not familiar with what we do. My name's Luke McCredden, with me Adam Ring, and Ads, fishing podcast is what it is, but we kind of take a different sort of twist on fishing. Now we talk about everything to do with fishing and that's involved in fishing, but we have a bit of fun with it and we ask and answer some questions that aren't typically spoken about in podcasts or TV world. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's fair. We shed light on the topics that don't often get discussed publicly. They quite often get discussed privately, whether that be in the car on the way, on the boat, or on the way back. Whether that be in the car, whether that be sitting around a campfire, whatever the situation may arise. But they're not typically conversations that take place in a public setting. So we thought, you know what? There's some pretty interesting topics that get talked about privately amongst fishermen.
Well, because it's on the back of the exact conversations that you and I have. We might be wading a trout river just randomly talking, and I look at you and you're wearing a tournament shirt and I go, mate, you know what? It's time. It's time to stop wearing tournament shirts. You know, that's an example.
It's an example. And you know what? It's perfect. And so many times, and this is what, I guess it's hard to portray during the podcast, but so many times just randomly throughout every week, we will come across something in the fishing space that we see, hear, watch, whatever it may be, and there's just a text message, hey, what about this?
Yeah.
Or seen this? Or what if this over this?
Yeah.
And that was taking place quite regularly. So we thought, hey, why don't we hit record and see if everyone else is thinking this stuff too? Because some of it they would be. Some of it's pretty wacky and far out. But
I think we're opening up the doors for people to express their feelings and thoughts in that sense. Ads, because we're an open book here. We're an open door. Come and talk to us. There's no silly things. You know, if you've got something to say and it might seem ridiculous, just say it. We'll be the judge of it.
Well, if you think you've got a ridiculous question, you're just a little bit on the tentative side to ask. Just go back and have a listen to some of the back catalogue of the stuff that we've dribbled on about. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Well, I was going to say, if you've got a question that you think, oh, maybe it's silly, maybe it's not appropriate, maybe it's not right, then it's probably spot on.
It's probably perfect.
Yeah, it's probably perfect for the deep drop. So that's it. There you go. So that's where we're at, and we are hearing it. Ads and Instagram. If you haven't checked it out yet, the deep drop on Instagram, and you know we'll get messages every week after a show with people sharing their thoughts and opinions and comments, obviously on the posts, and I think it's brilliant, and it just stems so many more questions which we raise on the show, and
that's right.
Magnificent. Like last week, we spoke about line and how much line do you need, and realistic,
which sounds in a snapshot, pretty fucking boring.
Yeah,
but trust me, it wasn't. I did go back and have a listen to that episode, Luke, and I didn't think it was that bad. I thought we managed to bring some interesting things on line capacities to the table.
Yeah.
With some interesting thoughts.
Just another, I suppose, to keep in mind is we're not here trying to tell people how to do things or how to fish or what they should try. It's certainly just a bit of a thought provoker. That's what the deep drop is all about, and we have lots of fun, and please, we want you along for the ride. So thanks for coming on for now, and stick around, and there's a whole back catalogue if you're just new to the podcast. If you've been around for a while, we know we've got plenty of regulars. We hear from them every week on Instagram. Welcome back. It's great to have you back. But yeah, I mean, the braid thing or the line thing did, I suppose it did spark some conversation. And Instagram, we saw some great commentary around, because we were sort of talking about, do you really need 150 metre spool of braid if you're just fishing estuaries? And some people said, yeah, if you hook a big Dewey, you'll need up to 90 metres or 70 to 100 metres. And so it was good. So it was good hearing everyone else's thoughts on that particular subject. So gave it a bit of a spin actually over the weekend, Ads. And I did have that in mind while I was fishing, because I swear I only used about 25 metres of braid.
And I did see, you mentioned there was a few people saying, if you hook a good Dewey, I'm sorry, I don't now. Listen, I've never caught big dewies. I've caught little ones, so I'm very much not speaking from experience on this topic. But as soon as you just said, yeah, like 70, 90 meters, I'm like, oh, I don't think so.
It's a long way.
It's a long way.
It's further than you think.
100% it is.
And I know, and look, we won't double back because we spoke about it last week if you want to have a listen. But you did mention, like, you know, the excitement on that first run makes you think they've just taken so much line. But have they?
Yeah.
I get it. Like, it's exciting, and you feel like, oh, they've just stripped 200 metres of braid off me, and then 4 winds later, you're at the leader.
I was going to say that they've taken 35 metres max.
So, but that's good. And hey, we might be way off.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
I haven't measured how long any of these runs are on any fish that I've ever caught.
It does make you think about it, though. Like I said, the other day, it crossed my mind a couple of times. I'm like, you know, casting lightweight sort of jig heads and plastics into a bit of breeze. So I'm like, I'm only getting 10 metres, like 15. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big cast. And then...
But even then, remember the shop days when particularly the surf fish shows? It's just... where you'd get them coming in saying, you know, they're belting out, you know, 70, 80, 90 metre casts. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure you're not. Because what would it...
It's a long way.
It's a long... Like,
it's a long way.
It's a proper long way.
When I say like 10, 15 metre cast, that's lightweight. Like, so with a metal slug and a longer rod, yeah, don't get me wrong, you can smash out a cast.
I wonder how long you're actually casting, though. With, say, a 40-gram slug and a 9-foot slug chucker. Some nice braid, 4,000 size spin reel.
Oh, yeah.
What do you reckon?
I'll make a. This is how my mind works. I'm a bit weird. When I think about this stuff, I think about a 50-metre pool.
Yeah, okay.
I think about the distance of a 50-metre pool.
Olympic size swimming pool.
I'm casting that.
You reckon?
Yeah. 50 metres.
So you'd stand on the blocks of an Olympic size swimming pool and still put
with
the
a
lure
metal
in,
with a 30-gram metal.
And you'd still like hit the back end.
I'm hitting the timekeeper. Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Should we?
Because it still sounds like... So, as per our conversation last pod...
Yeah.
So each cast, you're casting a third of the spool of braid. Minimum.
Me, if I'm doing 50 metre... Oh, if I've got a 150 metre...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
I'm
know.
not. Maybe my Olympic swimming pool sizes are out of whack.
Or maybe we're just not casting as far as what we think.
Or am I thinking of a 25-metre swimming pool?
Because every now and then you do lean into a cast and you go, oh, I hit that sweet.
I've always been a decent caster, Ads, and I don't often promote, any talent.
Oh,
at
no,
all.
back you. No, I've seen you sling a slug or two. That sounds a bit seedy, doesn't it?
It's like, why? How have you seen that? Have you been standing at my bedroom window?
Yeah, no, I'd prefer not to say.
No. I'm gonna. All right. This is gonna. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do some casting. I'm gonna measure out. I might try and. I'll go down to a footy oval.
I love this.
And I'm gonna. Hopefully, there's no dogs around because I'll take the hooks off. That'd be easier. Yeah. So 25, 30 gram slug is what I use commonly. Like that, everyone's different, but that's like my size that works for me in my particular area. But so I'm still saying I can get. Oh fuck! Now I've got doubt in my mind. No, I've got to back myself. I reckon I can cast 50 meters.
I like it.
I'm nervous now, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go do it. Yeah, I will. Okay, done. Well, that's on my list. Now I've got.
Because that would be awesome to find out.
All right.
Because I have no idea. Like my concept of distance and things is just, it's not even relevant. It's
I might come back. I might message you. Mate,
you might come back. You might come back and go, "Hey, just launched this thing 70 meters."
Maybe.
And at the top of the pod, I've just shit canned every surf dude that's ever said they've cast that far.
I reckon it's probably the one. Your longest cast is going to come out of a metal, isn't it? And a 9-foot rod. You know what I mean? Like you're not even big heavy poppers and that. You're not casting as far as you would with a metal slug. It just cuts through the air. It's got the weight. It's usually a lighter line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're not going to harp on more about it. I'm going to go
All right,
do it.
Hang on. I've just done some Googling.
Oh, don't Google. What are you Googling?
No. So the world record for the longest surf cast.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
There's some things getting around on Instagram at the moment with people pinging out these casts, and it sounds like the reels are about to explode and take off to space. But I don't know. Should I be ridiculous and say like 100 meters? I don't know. What is it?
Well, it's between 313 and 325 yards.
Oh, okay. So
what's that in meters? Hang on, I'll
do you want me
Google
to
that
do it?
too.
You do it.
So
150?
yards.
That's massive.
Yards to meters. So how many yards did I say? 315 at the low end.
I'm going to say it's 207. It's 100 and...
So 315 yards is 288 meters. So that was on the low end. If we go 315 to 325,
Hang on.
325 yards is 297 meters.
How is someone casting that? What's the length of a footy field? I need to, you know what I mean? I need to visualize. Length of MCG. Length of MCG. 171 meters.
So they're nearly doing that twice.
That's no.
Fuck
that. I'm calling that. No chance.
So maybe you casting a metal slug 50 meters doesn't sound that bad, does it?
And now I'm thinking about that. So if I'm standing at the top of the 50 meter line at the MCG, surely I can hit the goal square. I'm going to say I'm going to shit that in. I've changed my tone on this. I'm going to fucking get 70. Nah. I'm just going to go do it.
Yeah, that's interesting, hey? All right.
Jesus, I hope
Write
I don't
that down.
kill a dog or something while I'm trying to do it.
Or you forget to take the hooks off.
No, I'll definitely take the hooks off because there might be small children running as well. No, there won't be. I'm not. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. All right. No, I'm going to do it. I need a fucking long tape measure. I need one of those wheelie things. You know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they only exist in primary schools. You know what I'm saying? All right. Anyway, well, that's good. There's a challenge for us. I'm interested now. You should do the same.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah. Yeah,
you
won't.
I will.
But you should.
No, I will. You'll have to text me to remind me.
All right, good. But I did want to talk quickly about something because there's something we've spoken about on the show in the past ads. I did have a quick flick on Saturday afternoon. Shout out to John Didge who took me out for a bit of a burn. We've been doing a bit of fishing locally and getting some nice big silver trevally, which I've shared on Instagram before. Had situation, and we've spoken about this and we've questioned it, and you know we all know it's relevant at particular random times, whatever, where fishing soft plastics, pretty much the same sort of style and model plastic, but just different colours, where I was getting absolutely nothing and John was getting plenty. Thought, fuck, all right, I'm going to put this to the test. So I kept going for a little bit. He's getting hookups every couple of casts. So absolutely nothing, not even knocks on this. So I switched it up, went to his colour, bang, instant, first cast.
Oh, see this...
And this is where those moments are, and we know that we've all had those situations, whether it be a hard body, a metal, a plastic,
whatever,
spinner bait.
Yep.
But I don't reckon it's as often as we think. I think more often than not, they're around and on the chew. Sure, one might be better than another, but
I think I think what you had just then is quite rare.
Yeah.
As in, there's clearly a number of fish around.
Yeah.
Whether even if it wasn't that many, but that one specific color is constantly getting hit, you think even if you don't compete on the same level, you're still going to pick up a few because you know that. Was it a natural color that was dominating? Yeah,
it was like call it a ghost clear, pearl clear, bit of a fleck through it type, white
so
clear.
Hardcore natural. Yeah. What color were you using?
It was like motor oily sort of a
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
so a fish catching colour.
fish catching color, like a blood.
Yeah.
That when you think of that motor oil, and then there's the bloodworm. Like they're all
Bloodworm.
they
Yeah.
get it done.
They
so it
catch
was
fish.
a bit of a combo. It was a bit of a sort of mixed breed in a couple of those good colors. And a color that I've caught plenty of fish in this particular region recently. So it's not like it's just
Far
a But
Interesting.
It's just one of those ones where you go, where was the sun? Where was the moon? Which direction was the wind? Was the water clarity shit? Was the overcast conditions? What time of day? You know what I mean? Like, it's just this is why fishing's the best and worst, all in one hit, because there are so many fucking variables we talk about all the time.
So that colour that John was smacking fish on, do you have that colour in your kit?
Not that exact.
Because as soon as you said clear fleck,
But there's versions of that I would
it's
have.
an interesting
Yeah.
because I don't have clear.
Oh, you don't? Nah. Yeah.
Oh,
No, I would have.
Nah,
I've
maybe.
got-
Nah, that's not. But-
Whites and pearls and clears. Yeah, I've got. But
I don't ever use them.
no, it's not my first sort of go-to either. But it's so funny, isn't it? Because my go-to the other
but then
day was
again-
the one that caught fish last time.
But then again, if I was gonna specifically target silver trevally, I'm trying to think of what colour
I don't
would put
reckon
on
it's
first.
that. I don't think it's even. I genuinely were like, the last session, what worked, that's what I'll start with. And I think that's how we start a lot of our fishing
for
sessions.
sure. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That's not
But now, next session, I'll be starting with the
with clear.
white. Yeah. Because
Interesting.
you're mad not to, though, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's right.
Yeah. If you've dominated a session on a particular color, what wouldn't, like, if you didn't then start the next session with that, you're a bit, that's weird.
But it is weird. But also, if say you were to put that color on to start next session,
Yeah.
don't get a fish, guarantee you never use that color again.
Maybe.
It never goes back on.
Nah, but then you just go,
But at least
you know,
you've
that's
got
my 3 p.m. color. You know?
at least you've got a backup. Because I
Because-
think this is where a
yeah.
lot of anglers go wrong. Because I even think predominantly the style of fishing that I do is around that brim and estuary
Yeah.
and perch and it literally is a cycle of like 3 colors.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the thing. When you use another one, a new one that's not in that rotation, you get fish on it, all you're doing is adding to the rotation. And it gives you more confidence that you've got more options that you know have worked in the
Yes.
past.
Definitely.
So
Even
whether
if
or
it
not,
sits at the back of the pecking order still, it's still
Yeah.
something you can have in there and go, oh, I did get fish on this.
yeah, because remember, I think back of the snapper days where you and I fished pretty hard, particularly with plastics, over on the Mornington Peninsula. It was always a pilly flick bait.
Pilly flick bait. And if it wasn't a pilly flick bait, it was a nuclear chicken. Gold.
Well, yeah, but remember when we, probably after years of just, using pilly, we went
You're right,
to
it
what
was-
the pearl white,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
we went, oh, this works. So okay, cool. Now we know we can use this one as well because it was only ever one, and that was it.
Yeah, but pilly flick bait was always on first
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and on third. So
yes.
if you,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
That's right.
You change the
That's
colour
right.
up for a little bit and go, oh, I just got to put a pilly
Hey,
flick
I'm
bait
mixing it up, ads. I'm going to chuck on that shit fucking green color, whatever that was called. 3
Yeah, there
casts
was-
in, it's not working. I'm going back to pilly.
on. Yeah, you go, nah, not feeling it.
Such a
Not
great
feeling it.
call. It's first and third always. It's like a bloodworm regular.
Yeah, that's right. It's
It's first, second, third, and fifth.
yeah. And if it's well,
Or a motor
Maybe
oil
it's a-
Z-Man grub.
motor oil, but
Or
it's weird though because every time I go, I look at obviously got a pack of bloodworm and a pack of motor oil,
Yeah.
and every single time my brain goes, just put bloodworm on,
Yeah.
but I put motor oil on,
Oh.
and I don't know why because every time my heart says put the bloodworm on.
You need to sort that shit out.
I know. Could explain why I've donated the last couple of trips actually.
It's interesting that you keep going back there if you've donated.
I know,
You know what I'm saying?
but I've caught so many fish on those colours
Yeah.
over the years.
yeah, it's going to work again. Yeah, don't know. Anyway, interesting.
It's cool, but
So that
so
was
you
a
got these
great
treads.
situation of colour was everything. And, you know, because we spoke about just recently, I feel like it was recently,
Well, we had
what's
the
more
squid.
important, colour or...
Well, we had the squid jig challenge that we did with Hardy.
Oh, true. Yeah,
and
yeah,
Lee.
yeah. But remember we were talking about colour or action,
Yeah. Yes.
you know, and I think
We both said action.
I think
first.
action was where we landed, but it's kind of like... And I know there's more elements than just colour and action, but we were talking about those two. This case was... Well, it was colour because realistically we were using kind of little jerk shads, like minnows, that don't necessarily have a heap of action. It's sort of just a twitch and they a bit erratic. So it doesn't have a paddle tail or a wriggler tail or a, you know, some of the Crush City with the legs and shit. They're very basic. So, yeah.
Interesting.
So it was interesting. And it kind of led me to another point that I wanted to raise with you and the listeners, because I really want some feedback, and I want it through whichever way you guys want to do it. Instagram is probably the best place. And what I'm talking about is just an observation. So I want to know your opinion, Ads, but I want to feel out the listeners and see where your heads are at. I feel like there's been a big trend back into soft plastics over hard bodies. Just at first thoughts, what do you think about that comment?
Agree.
Yeah?
Yep. Not even
Right.
not even a second guess. 100% agree.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I'm alone here, by the way. I feel like I'll get some support. And it's not it's not a take sides. I'm just curious as to what people think. It's an observation, you know, there's a bit of, I suppose, a bit of science to it in what I do for a day job, and some data and sales sort of on that sort of thing. But it's also just finger on the pulse type stuff. I feel like plackies are as strong as ever.
Yep, I agree. Because they were in a little bit of a downturn for a few years there. As in probably not sales wise, but reputation wise. There was all the rage was around hard bodies. Whether that be in all forms of lure fishing, hard bodies were dominant for quite a little while. But I agree. I don't even think it's arguable. I think it feels like we're in a second coming of soft plastics.
Do you think there's an element of there was a period where it was a bit stale? There wasn't a heap of new and development coming through the pipe, and then the last 2 years has been, you know, we talk about obviously your stable of Crush City soft plastics and stuff, but also just some new in other brand, you know, just some new and exciting type innovation.
I'm not too sure. I think cost is a big thing.
Cost,
as in you're getting a lot more bang for buck out of buying a packet of plastics for $13 than you are one hard body. Because if you're buying a $13 hard body, it's generally that's on the extreme cheap side whereas you can buy the most, you know, arguably the most premium plastics for about that cost, and you're getting a whole heap of tails for them. But an interesting trend that I've seen is I think the freshwater fishery has helped spark it on.
I agree. I was going to bring this up and get your thoughts on it too.
Yeah, because I know the live scoping has changed the game. Like plastics are ruling that market at the moment.
Because I don't know, and I don't know if you're referring directly to when you say freshwater, like the cod and that sort of stuff. But I would also extend it to barra.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and you're probably right. It might be that live scope sort of technology that's you know, some of the swim baits and paddle tails and whatever.
Well, I think that is where most of it's stemming from.
Yeah.
I think it's taken a long time, but we've just got the confidence with how versatile a soft plastic really is. Because if you think about a hard body, the way it's cut and the bib shape, you can't really customize or muck around with the action to what you need it to do. it's either a slash bait or it's a crankbait, and you're pretty limited. It's hard to find something that does everything. Whereas you take a soft plastic, you can make it do whatever you want. Like slow rolling a heavy weighted soft plastic looks as good, if not better, as the most expensive hard bodies on the market.
Yeah, for sure. Do you reckon there's also the element of, I suppose, some new concepts to the way you can fish them too? Like all of a sudden, there's where 5-inch might have been the biggest sort of plastic you might use for a flathead, for example. It's now up to 8. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like there ain't anything too big. Like, go for it. See what you got.
Yeah,
and obviously the cod
definitely.
thing for sure as well. But, like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like revitalised almost a new style of fishery for some of these species.
Yeah. So I think you get the choices in, obviously, size, which I guess to a point you do in hard bodies, but probably not to the same extent. But rigging options.
Yep.
Let's say that overall versatility. I think as a fishing fraternity, we're really loving mucking around with rigging.
Yeah.
It's not the days the days of just smashing a standard jig head into it is still 100% relevant, and probably mostly where the soft plastic thing goes. But
just expand on that a bit, because I think it's, for the most part, I still think a jig head that you punch into your plastic, you're ready to rock and roll.
It's plug and play.
But there is so many options now in adding weights or stingers or spinners or fucking weedless and hidden, and it's
some of
crazy.
the stuff going on with soft plastics rigging is insane.
Yeah.
Like even some of the big, I guess, more expensive plastic swim baits, they're cutting them open and sticking ball sinkers in them and then heating them up to glue them shut and all sorts of crazy shit. Like
wild
hook placement, all this stuff. But I think that's what has helped make soft plastics the number one option again now.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the fish is telling you, you can generally rig a plastic to combat. If you're getting short strikes on something, you can hang a stinger off it. You can rig it completely different. If you're finding that weight's an issue, you can you used to just be able to put a heavier jig head on. But that doesn't always work in that scenario, because the heavier jig head, you sit very nose down.
Yeah, true.
Especially if you want to fish slow. There's just so many things you can do with a soft plastic. Now the choices, if you got size-wise, for anything from, a 1.5 to 2 inch paddle tail through to a 10 to 12 inch paddle tail, and literally everything in between.
Yeah.
The versatility of what you got to choose from in soft plastics has really shot it forward again.
Love it. I love that you're on board with this.
I'm all in.
So what do we want to ask? I would like to know so this is directed at lure anglers listening, and share it with your friends. Anyone you know that fishes lures, hard, soft, or otherwise. And I just want to know, like, what are you doing? Are you fishing hard bodies predominantly, or soft plastics, basically? Let's do it. Maybe it's a poll.
Yeah.
And just let us know. And if you've got any additional commentary, bloody get on board and give us a message or drop it in the comments. Let us know. And I'm just curious. There's no right or wrong, by the way. There's
no.
While we say all this, there's some of the nicest looking hard bodies and are starting to hit the market now, and it's fucking crazy.
And it's still insanely relevant. There's still plenty of people
100%.
hard body fishing. I think soft plastics are a little bit in the forefront of most anglers' minds at the moment, which is always interesting to see the cycles go, because like you and I saw the big soft plastics explosion early around that initial launch of Squidgy all those years ago. Gulp has always been a leader in soft plastics, because it's a bit of a different concept. And then we've seen everything in between, all the way up to the Kitex, the Crush Cities. There's so much to choose. Like, there's some really cool stuff around.
When we talk about when plastics were dominating back in the day, it was only one brand.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And now there is such an array, and like I said before, I think so many different variations and styles that have come through with development over the last, particularly probably 5 years, even 5 5 to 8 years of just, a lot of it's influence from overseas as well. And then, we can put our twist on it and do whatever. But I think it's awesome. You can, it sounds like a bit of a fucking cliche, but you can get a soft bait to suit any form of fishery in Australia now, like properly.
Yep.
Whether that be something big and heavy and dirty for the demersal stuff, or real finessey and fucking.
Well, this is where I'm hoping it goes, and that's I hope, because we saw the big revolution of soft plastic, and we saw the main sort of styles of soft plastic. I think we're in the real, like the proper experimental stage of plastic now. So people are going to muck around. They're going to try things. We've seen, like I said, all the different rigging options. We've got all these, critter baits. Worms are a huge one for us at the moment on around Port Phillip Bay. Luke, like I'm still seeing insane amounts of social media activity around King George whiting on soft plastics. Whether it's the old turtleback worm. I've seen a lot of press for a Munro's worm at the moment as well.
Yeah.
There's just been heaps and heaps of traction when it comes to soft plastics for species that we thought 5 years ago were just about impossible to catch on soft plastics.
Which is cool. And I think the idea that now, well, not just now, but the idea that there's not much that they couldn't catch.
No.
Is there? Is there anything? Well, I suppose that's a bit too broad because,
I don't know. If you spend enough time and you're really locked in, you could probably find a plastic to catch just about anything. You might have to work hard for some, harder than others, but that's fishing in general.
Yeah, for sure. I think, the soft plastic thing.
I reckon we're going to. If you legitimately went out into Western Port, and wanted to catch a banjo on a soft plastic, you reckon you could do it?
Yeah, I reckon you could, and it might be a bit controversial, but I reckon you just need to teabag it on the bottom.
I reckon it'd be like a shitload of scent and just dead stick the hell out.
Can I say, without breaking any rules, I know, and people listening might go, yeah, but that's cool. I didn't know this was really a thing, that there are people near my area targeting gummies on soft plastics.
This fascinates me.
And doing it and catching them. And that's all I can say, because I don't know. I haven't been involved and haven't seen it. Now, there might be people listening right now going, fuck yeah, I've done that. We do that. That's great. I do it all the time. Awesome.
Get in touch.
Tell me more, because I'm fascinated by it.
I want to know. I don't even want to know how. Just tell me the go-to plastic for catching gummy sharks on soft plastic.
Because all of a sudden I'm interested in gummy sharks. Well, with all due respect, lads, if you rang me and said, hey, look, we're going to do a gummy mission, just bringing heaps of bait and burley, I'm like...
No.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just...
nah. I don't know. I think...
I'm right.
I need to see it. I need to see it. The jury's got to be out on...
What? Like pluggies?
How reliable is it?
I don't know. But I know it was no accident. It's not...
I suppose you can't even talk reliability, because you could still argue, even with the whole King George whiting thing that's happening at the moment.
Yeah.
Like soft plastic, it works. It's viable. You can go and do it. But if you want to get a bag in the shortest amount of time possible, you just fish pippies and squid.
But this is where I think, I don't know, maybe it's circles that you move in or whatever. But this is where I think there is beginning to be a real, and not beginning to be, there is, but it's growing. The group of anglers who are us, recreational anglers in general, who are starting to think more about just how do we turn this into a sport?
Yeah.
Sports fishing sort of scenario. So, and that's what I mean with gummy. Like, and don't get me wrong, whiting fishing's cool fun. Paternoster rigs and bait. But I haven't done it since I've been shown the plastic sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, and you're 100% right. If I want to fill a bag, then it's probably not the best way to do it. But hey, I get a feed still. Like, it's still, it's
insane fun.
So much more fun. If you said that the gummy thing was a reliable option to pick, even if you're getting one or two, kind of like snapper, like unless you stumble on a massive patch of them, you might only pick up 2 or 3 really nice snapper on plastics.
Yeah.
And a few little ones and a couple of flatties or something. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
mate, if you could go out for a couple of hours and dong a couple of gummies with plastics, I'm in.
If you turn gummy fishing into sports fishing, as in,
I'm interested.
so if you were to catch a gummy on a soft plastic,
Yeah.
are you letting it go? Legal gummy.
Yeah, I can't be fucked.
Because you know what?
We're being honest. This is
I'm
not.
not.
I'm just. No, that's all right. As long as it's legal, mate. Hey, it's all yours. What a feed.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Beautiful
I'm,
feed.
I'm a lazy. Yeah, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, I get it.
But no, mate, absolutely. Why wouldn't you keep it? What a great feed to bring home for the family. Couple of big bloody gummy fillets. Happy days. But it's the same. Like I think I would love to explore that option a bit more.
I'd love
I
to
know
just.
it's happening. So if
I'd
you're doing it, let us know, please.
Yeah, and let me know. Let us
We
know.
won't give out any details and secrets
dude.
because it's not our place.
I'm insanely interested. I
Yeah.
want to know how viable it is because I feel
Yeah,
as though I need to be talked into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all right. Fuck, we've got some questions to ask the Instagram. The Instagram.
The
That's what I'm
Instagram.
calling it from now on.
Yeah.
It annoys people. Fuck, so all right. Plastics and hard bodies.
So so we need a plastic and hard body pole.
All right.
And
This
then
is also, if you're new here, this is what we do. We have production meetings on air.
on air. Yeah, this is how transparent we are at the Deep Drop. We do all the planning while we're recording.
While we're recording. We're doing...
So we've got the pole. We've got
Yep.
Gummy Sharks on soft plastics.
Yeah, please get into... Like, give us... Yeah.
Now, like, I'm actually begging, if you are catching Gummy Sharks on soft plastics, to the point where
Well, there's so
I'm not
many questions.
talking like you may have accidentally foul hooked one in the tail at some point, fishing for snapper. You are specifically going to target Gummy Sharks on soft plastics, and you've caught more than one.
Yeah.
I don't even care if it's a deem. If you don't want anyone to know, that is fine. Please reach out DM wise. Because I'm fascinated. Because I can't even
And
work
what sort of
out
plackies are we going for?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you want to share it with us and share it with the listeners, shoot us a voice message and explain it all, and we'll just fucking play it.
I'm interested as hell.
Yeah. What sort of plastic would you use? I mean, they're not typically going after live bait fish, are they? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are they eating? Is it worms and stuff?
Well, I could
Not
think,
worms, but you know what I mean.
like maybe if you could get crab
Big
soft
grubs?
plastics that were bigger, then but they don't really have a size that I'd be comfortable chucking for a gummy. Maybe like a 5-inch white flick bait because it looks like a squid strip.
Maybe. Yeah, but this is the other thing, right? And this is we need to just be mindful of this. Are we calling if you just stick a plastic on a paternoster rig?
No, you got to be holding the rod the whole time.
That's not. Yeah. And how much do you need to be working it? Like, you're not just casting it out, letting it hit the bottom and letting some tide do the movement.
I think I've got the plastic.
But
I think I know.
what are you doing? Are you retrieving that? Is that a cast retrieve situation? Because it
Yep.
kind of has to be, right? Like, we're not talking.
I think
What do you got?
I think I've got it.
Have you? Like, what is it? Or are you not allowed to say it? Is it new? Oh, is this?
Nothing. No, not you. Not new. I reckon
Suspense is killing me.
it's gonna sound biased, but hear me out.
Yeah.
I reckon a Crush City imposter,
Sounds biased.
and it might be. But hear me out on why.
Yeah. Explain it for those that aren't familiar with them.
So Crush City imposter, it's essentially a prawn style plastic,
Yep.
but because of the material, the amount of action you get through it is insane. So if you want to hop it, the tail will curl in, but if you want to slow roll it like a prawn or a shrimp,
That's
the
what I'm
legs and
thinking.
the tail will move. We know for a fact that gummies will get up in the shallows, in particular in Western Port, and they'll get stuck into those mantis shrimp.
That's what I'm thinking. A slow roll. So how big are we talking in the soft plastic options?
Well, that's where I
In those
can't
ones.
say.
Oh, snap.
That's where
Okay.
I can't say.
Fuck. We might be able to in a couple of weeks.
Potentially.
Oh, okay. That's not even a given. Okay. All right. Well,
Just
stay tuned. We've got, okay, so the after trade show is coming up in a few weeks' time,
Yep.
where there is quite a lot of new product releases across the whole industry. So rods, reels, lures, whatever. Okay, we might have to hold off till after that, or it might be even later by the look on your face. So I'm just going to stop talking.
No, mate, no.
Anyway. But I think that style that you're talking about makes sense to me,
Yeah,
slow rolling that.
That's about the only thing I can think of that would be consistent. Though I could potentially see
Let's get our hands on some. Man.
like a bigger flick bait style worked really slow. So it's a proper dying bait fish presentation. Potentially even like maybe getting creative with the rigging, like rigging a flick bait style plastic, rigging it through the side.
Okay. Now you're getting American.
Rather than through the top, so that it's
Got the fucking big worms and they just pin them through the side.
Yeah, so you can just
Maybe.
so that you can really just give it that
And just drag it.
This bait is really cactus. Like fish
Okay.
it slow, but give it
Heaps of
because
scent.
you could hop it on the side and who knows what it's going to do. But it could just be that.
I feel like it needs
Maybe
some
that
sort
could
of
work.
tail, or some sort of action, whether it's tail, legs, whatever. So
I reckon the prawn could be the go.
I'm not minding that. We might be so far off the mark. We
I
should
know.
shut up and wait for the feedback, and then we can talk about it.
Correct.
All right, let's do that. I think it's fascinating though.
Yeah, I think
It
it could.
is.
Interesting.
And you
Reach
might
out.
you know what? You might even be able to get a banjo with one.
Maybe.
To circle back onto your original question.
Yeah.
But I think it was, originally the reason that came up was there's not much plastics can't catch. I think it's a fair call.
Well, because the King George whiting thing has kind of changed the game because we all didn't think they could be caught on plastics because they were such nose down in the sand getting it done. But isn't that kind of what a gummy's doing? Like a gummy's not swimming around like a mako, rounding up schools of pillies and stuff.
No. And then, because that's even, you were talking about rigging and stuff before too, like even the jig heads, like those Ned heads with the flat and they're designed to basically sit flat on the bottom and the worm just points straight up out of the bottom. That just opens up a world of opportunity for like the whiting and that sort of stuff. Trevally, brim, like all of that sort of shit.
All of it.
So gummies maybe same.
Maybe.
Maybe a bigger sort of Ned head. Fuck. Love all this. I just can't get sick of this stuff.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I want to hear from. There's got to be a couple listeners out there that are doing it. We know it's being
Has
done.
to be.
Just I want to know how reliable it is.
Yeah.
As in, reach out.
Yeah, and while you're at it too, don't forget that we're always curious to know what you're doing fishing wise, because we spoke in the lead up to winter that it can be winter's here, fucking put the gear away. But I've seen a lot of people out and about, and
there's heaps of people
absolutely
fishing.
love it. Yeah,
And
it's so good.
You've just opened up another question that I can't believe we haven't asked of our listeners on the pod before.
Let's hear it.
And I think this one really does lend itself to potentially leaving us like a voice type message.
Yeah.
What are you mucking around with? Like what have you seen, heard, looked at, just pondered?
Yeah.
What are you looking to try that you haven't normally done?
Because I think too, that is so the deep drop.
Yeah.
That is so, like we talk about this sort of stuff so often just in our normal day-to-day life. It's like, hey, thinking about this, do you reckon it would? Like, remember years and years ago ads, and I think we've sort of even mentioned that back in the old tackle shop days where things were quiet, we used to fuck around with gear and rigging and that. And we went through a phase of rigging. Oh, I certainly did because I've still got a shitload just your stock standard metal slugs, but I was putting assists on them and just rigging them all differently and chucking some soft plastics and just mixing all that up.
Well, the other thing that I've seen a little bit on social media, which is, I think it's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because we've had this insane run of calm weather, the sword thing took off again for a little bit. Do you know what some guys are doing now?
What?
Specifically going and targeting instead of sword fishing and dropping 400 and 500 gram vertical jigs for blue eye and those bottom fish.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah.
It's cool as hard work.
Hard work.
But legitimately vertical jigging, blue eye.
Yeah.
And I've seen it more than once.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's
Just
really cool.
Off lakes, like it's not this thing that's happening overseas. It's happening here. Like that's cool as.
I love that. I love that someone sat there with a couple of beers and went, "Oi, I reckon we could do this."
Because I reckon you'd have to be pretty pissed to try jigging in like 300 meters of water.
No. What we'll do, we'll get. I've seen these 500 gram jigs. We'll get them. No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I wonder how much action you're getting in that depth of water with a 500 gram jig.
Fuck all.
It must be enough to get a hit.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
They're catching fish.
I love that. But again, to your original point, what are you doing at the moment? What are you fucking around with?
Or
what are you messing with as far as like you get, we mentioned soft plastics before and people cutting them open and doing bits and pieces to like you're chucking a rattle chamber in a tail of a, what are you doing that's not out of the box? So you're sort of doing your own custom job. What is it?
I want to know.
Yeah. What are you doing? Is there anything you're working on at the moment in that space?
I've been bouncing some ideas on these King George whiting. I've been bouncing some ideas off one of the boys up in our Queensland office for work because they don't have King George whiting up there. Yeah. And we were just having a conversation back and forth on how the uncatchable King George whiting on soft plastics has now turned into one of the greatest sport fish known to Port Phillip Bay history. And I've got some ideas. I refuse to believe that a worm or a turtleback worm or that style is the only thing that can catch these things.
No, it's not.
And I've been just thought process mucking around with ideas for Ned heads especially.
Yeah.
Focusing on colour rather than the tail. I've been bouncing some ideas. I'm just waiting for a little bit of warmth to come around. I've got a spot local to home that I can try it. Insanely tidal.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just got to wait.
Good. Okay, good. All right.
But that's got me. It has had me thinking.
Yeah. I think. I've been mucking around a little bit with, look, this probably is another topic for another show, another episode. But how deep's too? And we'll talk. I just want to paint a picture of say estuary right now. Yeah. How deep is too deep for top water? Is it, if that makes sense? Like and people might go, what the fuck are you talking about? But like traditionally in my experience, my best sort of top water experiences have been when it's shallow water and you're getting whether it's perch
up
or
on the flats or
brim or whatever. Yeah, in it might be a foot of water or a metre of water tops, where you sort of feel like something on the surface is still in the zone, even if the fish are sitting on the bottom. Do you know what I mean? So it's I'm curious to know if there's if there is a limit there. So I've been chucking around some lures in some areas that are kind of I wouldn't normally chuck a bent or something like that just to see.
That's interesting.
And when I say, I literally just started thinking about this recently, and even on the boat the other day with John, we were talking a bit about it as well. So just. Yeah, but I think that might be a bit of it. We might break that down in an episode as to top water fishing in an estuary.
And that's really interesting. As per a recent conversation that we both had with Lee Rayner, some of the stuff that he's learnt with live scope.
This is probably where I think it might stem from a bit of just seeing a bit more of that live scope. It's got me thinking about
some stuff too.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Wow. Live scope's changing us.
It is. And we don't even use it.
Well, yeah. No. But whether it's that, but it's certainly just it's got me thinking. Because
Yeah.
they're not all just on the bottom.
No,
These estuary species.
if anything, I think we get carried away with fish. The catchable fish are only on the bottom. I think freshwater guys are a little bit more in tune with it because cod, yellows, trout. Traditionally, they have a history of being caught right throughout the water column.
Yeah.
But salt water, I feel as though we're 100% obsessed with the fish on the bottom.
Yeah. And not even estuary when you think about the bays.
No, like even
snapper, we
snapper.
just go, well, they're on the bottom. But
They must be feeding. Well, not
every now and
necessarily.
then, though, when you think, and if you think about it, I reckon a lot of people have had situations where they've hooked up and you go, my bait was
nowhere near
the bottom.
Yep.
You know, we've had it with
That's
soft
right.
plastics where if they weren't a couple of feet from the surface, I'll go, hey, because
because we sure as shit weren't in 2 meters of water.
No. Yeah. So I reckon there's a lot to break down there, and I think we'll do that. I'm looking forward to breaking that one down. We might even get some thoughts and feedback from Instagram before we record it, because I just think it's an interesting one. Like, is a brim always mooching on the bottom feeding?
No, they can't.
No. And look, there'll be people out there
because
right now.
some fish definitely yes. Like a King George whiting's not going to feed mid-water.
But this is also where you say that, ads.
I know.
I've had but this is where the technology comes in, and like, you know, fishing with some people that I fish with using side scan and all that sort of shit. Like the ability to read that properly and just be able to go, there's fish there, and they're sort of mid water or top water or on the bottom. You know, like that tells you everything you need to know.
An interesting one for where they feed. Just go to the aquarium.
Yeah, but they're all fucked out, probably, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're not. but if their instinct was to feed off the bottom,
Yeah.
like you go and see.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? Like even go and see some mulloway at the aquarium. They're not mooching on the bottom.
They're also miserable.
That's true. Very well fed as well.
They also don't look quite right. Something not quite right with them. Oh, someone accidentally spilt nuclear waste into the aquarium tank again. Nah, but it's a fair call though, and it's like when we used to look at the way those bass and yellow belly would react in the tank at work.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like it's not their natural environment, but they would certainly. And you're right, the aquarium they certainly show. Yeah,
even just the way they react to the broiler
reactions. Yeah. So, fuck, there's a lot to talk
There's
about.
a lot.
I mean, we've just sort of ripped through the best part of an hour, ads, and I don't even feel like we've started yet.
No.
So welcome everyone. Buckle up for an episode.
I hope you were
of the Deep
writing
Drop.
down some of those questions because I haven't been, and they're definitely worth picking apart.
Yeah. No, there's plenty there, but. Listen, I want to throw to you guys. Get across Instagram. The deepdrop.au is the website. You can also go and check out. But I want to know where you're at with hard bodies and soft plastics. Is the soft plastic sort of trend and push back towards majority the way everyone out there is seeing it as well? And are you changing your fishing styles to be predominantly more soft plastics, or are you very much just a hard body angler? Let us know, and let us know what sort of fishing you do, and you know. Why and why you love your plackies more than hards or vice versa. Gummies on plastics. Come on, just reach out.
If you don't want us to talk about it, please say that in your DM.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in this. It's
more around probably finding out initially, and I think you're probably on. This is where you're going with it too. Is like the viability of it.
Yes.
So yeah, because if it's Yeah, because gummies just. I'm on record as saying I've never been able to get excited about them. You went through a gummy phase, didn't you?
I did, but it was more of a thought process than actually practical because I went down the rabbit hole of catching them off a surf beach, and then I realised they were on the beach at night, and I never did it.
It's everything.
I actually never did it. I talked myself into it. I got all of the information. There was a guy we were working with at the time that was just an absolute fiend at it, and would get them more often than not. And I mentally was obsessed with it, and I never actually went.
No, because you realised it was the beach.
It was the beach.
Night.
Yeah, so two of the worst things.
Yeah. You are on record of saying that is your least favourite thing in the world.
Yeah. And, you know, I have caught a gummy off the beach once. And there was that much fucking weed on it too. I didn't know I had a gummy until its eyes were lit up on the beach.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So the
Does it
actual
count?
Moment, no, it does, mate. I'm not going to take that away from you. But you didn't enjoy any of it.
No,
you were just
none of it. I
reeling
just
in
thought it was
kelp.
weed. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. And of course, Adam wants to know what you're mucking around with. What are you doing at the moment? You're messing around with any lures or terminal?
What rabbit hole have you gone down?
Yeah, rigging. You're making your own rigs.
Is there a different way you want to catch a species you normally fish for? Just what rabbit hole have you gone down in the fishing world?
Let us know. We can expand on that for many, many episodes. So don't.
Heaps. Endless.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. And again, if you want to leave a voice note, we can play you on the show.
Yeah. Done it
Not
before.
afraid to do that. That's great fun. All right. Well, there's plenty there for you guys to work on throughout the week. Keep in touch. We're an open book here at the Deep Drop. No judges.
Nah, let us know.
And we will be with you again really soon. Thanks, Adam. Have a great week.
You too, mate.
Peace.